Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll. I'm so excited today. The wind's been blowing for the last 2 or 3 days and it's calmed down. And I've got flowers to plant, and we got some more this morning. I love going to the nursery, seeing all those gorgeous flowers and all those colors just all put together in one little area. And then I just start dreaming about where I'm going to be putting it. But I also got so tired I almost couldn't enjoy Easter Sunday. I was just so pressured and stressed, but I did enjoy it. We had a wonderful Easter sermon and just enjoying all the wonder of spring. And I am feeling blessed this morning. For some reason, I'm just feeling so blessed. I got a lot of the pots filled in. I think the last time I showed you these, there was nothing in this little pot. Now it has little sedum starts in it. This one's full. It does have a bunch of scraggly looking ones that I took from inside the house, and they just were not really ready for all that since I didn't acclimatize them and that wind was so strong on them. But I'm hoping they'll come out of it. A lot of times they will if you don't give up on them. They might look scraggly for a while, but most of the, well, at least half of the time. Okay, like this one right here. Let me find it here for you. There, that one. Those two on either side of that spike. They look so scraggly, but they were looking so good. They have a green top, and the underside of them is purple. And up in this taller plant where your eye is going to focus right in on the underside of it, it just works so pretty to bring out that color. I'm still wanting some white and mauve gazanias to go around the bottom part here with the dianthus. I didn't find any of that this morning. I did remember to look. I do have a lot of the pots done. I know I already showed you this and had it done previously, but this one is newly done, and I did put it I switched places. I had it where this one is last year, but I think it just got too much sun for this. I had one of these beautiful white and yellow calabachoa or mini petunias. I had it in there last year, and it looked so good for a little while, and then the heat got to it and it just went away. So I'm hoping that because here it'll be under the eave of the house a little better, or the porch, that it will last a lot longer. It'll still get some sun, and I think it'll get enough sun, but hopefully it'll also get enough shade to keep it pretty. We'll see how long it'll be pretty. I love these two colors together. I did several more on this side. Also, this one, I had this in a paler orange, like the creamsicle orange last year, but I didn't really see those colors right when I was looking, so I got the brighter ones, and we'll see how they'll do. So I tried to get just at least one item in each pot. This one I put the pretty white impatiens, and they just act like lights in the shade especially. And then back behind it I left it open for caladiums. I think I'm going to put the white Christmas caladiums there. And then this pot here, I'm not sure what I'm going to put in yet. I didn't put anything in it, but I thought I might put the red caladiums in that one. I haven't decided for sure on that though. And this one I did in that pretty creamsicle orange, and then there's some of it in that coleus right there. And right in the middle I planted a Ostelamaria Inca Ice. I had one of those one time for a short while, and I moved it, and it didn't like the move, so it didn't go ahead and live. So I'm hoping that this one will do wonderfully. I hope it'll do good right there in that pot and come back. It's a deep enough pot, I think, that it could do that. And then this little one, I just put multicolors in there. She's got impatiens all around her, and then there's a coleus right in the back. So hopefully this one will look good too. Then this little, I love this little rooster, and of course it's for my sister Clara to remind me of her. Not that I need anything to remind me of her. Oh, and that's another thing. I was looking, yesterday was Loretta Lynn's 87th birthday, and I was looking at some of the things about her that are online, and one of them was that one of her daughters' name, the one they called Sissy, her real name was Clara Marie. I've got to tell my sister that because that's her name. I always loved that name, Clara. It seems like it's an old-fashioned Victorian name or something. It just evokes a beautiful lady. I just put some little impatiens at the bottom of this little girl too, and if they grow up and fill out, they'll be beautiful. I've got to come out here and sprinkle down some granules for roly-polies because they love these impatiens. They have a little watery stem that just, I know they're thinking, oh, so juicy, let's dive into that, because they'll take them down. It won't take them long to do it. This little icicles plant right here is a licorice plant, and it came out of my window, so I'm hoping it will put its little root down and go. And then of course that beautiful begonia, that dark color foliage, and that pretty bright red bloom. These begonias are pretty, but in the fall especially, they just glow. I put impatiens in this little pot and some coleus, and these are some more coleus that I got out of the window, so we'll see if they'll make it or not. They may not, but they may. They may. Sometimes the scraggly little stuff will pick itself right up once it builds its root, and you may have to clip off the old dead stuff around it, but it'll pick up its little root and just take off a lot of times. Not every time, but a lot of times. See more little impatiens in this pot, impatiens and coleus in this pot. And okay, I did get tired and just started putting things in on some place. I think this may be one of them, but I still think this has great potential to be very pretty when it grows up. And there's another one with little clippings out of the window in it, and I'm hoping they will do well. This little pot right here is just, I have told you so many times, but I love the Dusty Miller with the Silver Falls Dachandra, or Dachandra, however you say that. I put those together in this pot along with some pretty coleus and that Plectranthus, which is a cousin to the coleus. That one came out of the window, and the pretty, see if I can get a little bit better, the pretty coleus came from one of the nurseries, our local nurseries. And then I did this little pot too. I hope these will grow up and be beautiful. Don't you love those colors together? I thought they just looked perfect together, just seeing them side by side. And so I put them in a pot together. This one up here I've shown you, but it's still looking good. I did put a spike in there. I don't know why I forgot to put the spike in the first place, but I did. I love a spike in this pot. And in this little pot, I simply put one long little impatient, that pretty pink impatient. And the reason I left it is because there's so much stuff coming up in there. I'm going to wait and see. I'm pretty sure these little ones are petunias. And of course, this is a mime. And these other little ones are larkspur, which won't be pretty all year, but for a good part of the season they will be, and then I'll pull those up, and I may put something else in there, or actually those other ones that Mom could fill out and just fill out that whole pot, or at least half of it. And I noticed my little angel was all laid over there, so I kind of set her up a little bit better. I read in one of the Birds in Bloom book, I think, or it may have been Garden Gate, but one of my catalogs that I get, I read that the tobacco plant is one of the plants that will stay all season in our hot weather, so I'm going to give it a try. That pretty little petunia you see there, that will be pretty at least through June, and then it gets iffy after that. In our hot weather it may or may not make it, but I'll certainly give it a try. Isn't that pretty? These are some more plants I got this morning from Janie's, and this little plant right here got me to remembering and missing my friend Glenda, because she introduced me to this plant. It's a copper plant. It's an annual, so I've killed several of them, but I'll keep trying. It's so beautiful. She got the first one. She introduced me to it by getting one. It was the one she purchased was $17, and I thought, oh my, no, I don't think I'm going to pay that much for one. But she gave me a little start off of hers, and it just took off and went. She put this in an orange pot, and that orange on this copper plant and that orange pot just glowed together, and you couldn't help but look at it or even stare at it. It was so pretty. Remembering you, Glenda. I know you're happy in heaven, but I can't help but wish you were here with me every once in a while, because I know how you loved it, how excited you would get, and your word was adore. I just adore, you would say. I did not get a lot done on this other side. I got a few things though. This I'm hoping this is a heliotrope, and it actually got nipped by the last freeze while it was at the nursery. The ones that I got at Atwood's this time were, they just got nipped terribly bad, but I just went ahead and got them anyway, because I didn't know if I would find another heliotrope, and I think it'll come out of it and be beautiful. And then around here I put this beautiful petunia. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. I hope it will last all season long. I know I've got to start clipping them back sooner. I do clip them back, but I read somewhere where you should clip it at least every 2 weeks to keep it so it'll have fresh ones on there and be able to weather better. I didn't put anything in this pot because it has a mum in there, and I think that would be pretty if it just goes ahead and fills all that out with a pretty mum. And then this pot here, it's a perennial that comes back every year. Artisma valeriafinus or something like that. I don't know how to say it, but it's so pretty. I love this pot and it together. They just really shine too to me. I did this little pot here with a pretty yellow lantana and this pretty pink nemesia, which also has the yellow in the center of the bloom. So I'm hoping that will look pretty too. And it's another thing that now the lantana, I'm pretty sure it will keep right on going through the heat and everything. But this little nemesia, as beautiful as it is, it may not last. I wish it would, but I'm going to enjoy it as long as it does. My snowball bush is whitening up more and more. And I did this little pot right here. I had to fix this little girl places on it, and then I had to repaint those places and spray it with the clear seal because it won't last long in the garden if you don't. The elements just take the color away sometime anyway. But I put this has got some pretty flowers in it too. These are some more that this is the beautiful Coleus stained glass plum, and you can tell it's one I kept in the window because they're just looking so puny. But oh, I hope they will live, because if they will live and take off, I'll get little clippings from those and start in other places. They're so pretty. And then I put those in there with a white geranium with two, one on either side or other of the vinca or periwinkle. And then there's a tiny little coleus. Let me see if I can get this kind of out of the way so you can see the coleus. And then this is a diamond frost euphorbia. To me, it's like putting lace in it. It's just so pretty. And then down at the bottom there's some more. I put the bigger part of that coleus there with also some more diamond frost euphorbia and another periwinkle back there in the back. I had to dig out some of my variegated grass because it was taking over the pot, and I like to be able to see the little decor in my pot too, so I put some of it, about half of it or a little more, in that whole pot of its own. I don't know, that may be all I've got done so far around the front here as far as pots. I'll take a little look around and I'll see. Oh, I also did this one. I did parts of it yesterday, and I think I may have done parts of it another day. May already have some of it on here, but this is the chard, the Bright Lights chard. Love it in a pot. I got that idea from a catalog too. Didn't come up with it on my own, but they said put it up high so that you can notice the stem in a pot, because that's going to be what shines, and it truly is. And then I put some little pieces of that Ostalameria Inca ice in around it there, so I'm hoping that will really look good. And then this is purple loose stripe, and I think that's going to really be pretty there too if it takes off and goes like I hope it will. This little pot, last year I had the same thing in it. That's what made me want to put it back in it again, because it looked so good. These are Bells of Ireland, the green, and then this is Alternantheria Purple Night. And when those just grow up together and the colors play off of each other, and it's beautiful, just beautiful. I'm going to go up this way just a little bit so you can just see how much the hostas have grown. And I know I've got to get busy because I want to get some of the plants out. We're supposed to get a rain tomorrow, and I am so hoping to get those out so that they can get that first rain from the heavens, and just start growing in the garden again, the things that I've put away and let go dormant. I also wanted to mention this little Persian shield, because on one of my other posts I was going to put it under the eave of the house so it could try to get more sun, but what I meant, of course, was more shade where it'll be under the eave. And I'm going to try that because my Persian shields have a tendency to go brown, which brown is just a pretty color, but it's not the color for a beautiful bright purple Persian shield. Oh, and I also did these little pots. These were, I had a tier, you can see the pole part of this one, but I had a 3-tiered planter and it just kept falling apart, so I finally gave up on it, and I put those out here with my other pots. This is a hosta and a calabrachoa, and this is one of the beautiful calabrachoas too. and I'm hoping they normally do very well in these cocoa liner pots because they like to be drained, but they also don't like to go totally dry. So it's kind of hard for me to keep these going too, but I'm going to try. I seem to have much better luck in these type of a pot, and I seem to have much better luck here in Oklahoma because our heat can just be horrible, but it can take these out. But I'm hoping that because they too are a little bit under the eave and a little bit in the shade of our maple tree, they do get quite a bit of shade, so I'm hoping that will save them as well as they get sun. I love this area actually. I never thought I would. I try to get stuff growing here, and because we have the maple tree, I just could not get anything. The roots would take them out and choke them out, so I just started putting pots here. I can't believe how many I ended up with, but I like it, and it's such a wonderful place to grow them because they do get enough shade and they do get enough sunlight coming in too. So the hostas do well here if the snails will leave them alone. And then all my little impatiens, which of course love the shade, they do well here. And then the things that like the sun actually don't do bad here either because they get enough sunlight. I'm going to see. We'll see how these two right here do. These two little calabachoas, I'm hoping they will do wonderfully. And then these little pots, I just put some impatiens in. There's another for my sister Clara. She must be thinking about me today, or I'm thinking about her. My mother always said that. But anyway, I know I'm thinking of her because the rooster is the one that represents her in my garden. And then I put, no, this one actually came back. This is sedum in this little pot. And then this little pot, it did not come back. So I had to go ahead and put some more in it. And I used the silver edged thyme in this one. Oh, and I forgot what this one is called, but it's a perennial. This is the first time I've tried this little plant, and I hope it's going to do well. And I also did this little pot here. These are also starts from the house along with the blue days. So I think that has potential to be very pretty too. And I was going to say that little perennial ground cover, I put the biggest portion of it right here. And then these are also the bells of Ireland with this pretty Black Knight alternantheria, which it's pretty because it breaks up the green and you have the green and maroon together, but also when the sunlight shines on it, it just looks like rubies. It just begins to dazzle and shine in the sun. So I'm taking up too much time doing this because I know I need to get busy, but this is so much fun and I feel excitement of it and just starting to look really good and filled out, even though I know there's so much I need to be doing. Look at this poor little cone planter. I'm going to have to redo the whole thing, but I did get some cocoa liner today and I will plan on getting that done soon. Hopefully today, but there's a lot to do. I don't know if I'll get it all done. These are my variegated grass pots. I have one on either side of my little front porch, and I also put that blue verbena in with it, and then I've got something coming up here, and I think this is that wonderful purple celosia that really shines in the late summer, early fall garden. Then this is the one on the other side, and this is the one where it actually, this variegated grass just took over the whole pot. It was totally filled out with variegated grass, so I took a bunch of that up and then I went ahead, oh yes, and I also put some tall garden phlox in both of these pots, because I just thought a little sprig of that blooming, it blooms right around the 4th of July and stays most all the summer until late summer before it stops blooming. So I'm hoping that's going to be a good addition. And then this one did not have any little starts coming up of the celosia, so I took some from the other pot and put over here. So they should be similar. They won't be exactly alike, but they'll be close enough. I think they're going to look good. I got this little plant out too. I'll have to ask my sister if hers made it. Most likely it did, and it's most likely twice the size. So I was bringing stuff that I had in the house outside, and look what I found. Panda plant bloom. Isn't that sweet? And this is my golden chain tree, and it's blooming. Isn't that pretty? I think this might be the prettiest it's ever bloomed. Of course, it's just a little tree, not very old, but it is a few years old. So, as pretty as it was in the picture. So the last time you saw this door, it was leaning out here by the redbud tree, and my husband and his brother got it put up for me, and he just took me out there. I had to take a little break in between these to go look at our new, we have a new tree, and it's a weeping willow, which I love. I think they're just gorgeous and graceful and beautiful. Of course, it's a little one, but I don't know how they will do in Oklahoma. It might have been a mistake, but I'm hoping it will do wonderfully. This little crepe myrtle right here, when it first comes on in the spring, it puts these beautiful colors. They're almost like fall colors on, and I just love it. This is called peppermint lace, and it is so pretty when it blooms. And then I'm going to turn around here. This peony is about to bloom, but what I wanted to get on is this beautiful clematis bloom. Isn't that pretty? It's a light pale color, but sometimes the pale ones are what lights up for you. Especially, now this is not in the shade that much, but when you put a pale color in the shade, it will just act like a light to bring light to that area. There are lots of pots out here I would like to fill too, of course. This one is my front pot right here. This is my first garden guardian angel, and I like to make her a little bit special if I can. Hopefully she'll look good, because she's kind of the first thing you see in the garden, even though right now probably the first thing you're going to see is this beautiful yellow and then the purple of the sensation lilac. But those will not stay, at least the lilac won't. I'm not sure about these little yellow. Somebody tell me what they are. I can't remember what I planted there, unless they are perennial alyssum. That may be, I'm not sure. But when all the background is green, this little pot and this little angel are the first thing you notice in the garden. And I still don't have this one little pot filled out. I think I'm going to put some white Shasta daisies in there. I had this pot done in white last year, but then all around it was some of the pink and different colors, so it didn't really look like a white and green garden like I had it originally planned, but it was still pretty. And then this beautiful clematis is still just blooming away, looking so good. And then there's our tree. There's our new little one that joined our garden team. I don't know if you can really see it that well. It's still small, but it is pretty tall. Most of the time I get trees, they're like a foot tall, but this one is a good, 6 foot maybe, and even a little bit filled out. So hopefully it will be gorgeous before too long. There's another pot right there I need to redo and fix up, but I get excited about it because I know that every little addition just makes it that much more showy, more beautiful. I love seeing all this stuff that God made and that He allows me to put it together. It's been such a blessing. One of the greatest blessings in my life is to be able to have this garden and to be able to share it with others. And there's another couple of little pots I'll want to get something in to look pretty instead of just look bare like this, but it'll take time. I won't get that done today, I'm pretty sure, but I will, with the Lord's help, get it done a little later. But okay, I've got to go in. I've got to get busy, get my garden clothes on, and get to work. It's the end of my work day, April the 22nd, 2019, and I had a busy day. But I got a lot done again. I got all of my houseplants brought out that I had saved over winter. I do have a few new ones that are still in little bitty pot containers that they come in that I want to put in pots and put out here too, but that's for another day. So let me show you just a little bit of what I did. You know, this one I brought it from inside, but when you start with a bunch of pots, the only where you can go after that is up. So I layer. You can see what a difference layering it makes, how much fuller everything looks after I brought this little house plant out. This beautiful begonia house plant. I put this Dracia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, in with the same one that had this pretty little, let's see if I can still see it or if it's, oh yeah, there it is. This pretty little panda bloom. This is called a panda plant. And then I put that in there with it. I put my foxtail fern right there front and center. I love this thing. And then this is a Esperanza plant that I say overwintered in this pot, and I'm so happy it's back out here. I hope it will take off and go. And of course this lovely, I love this begonia. This is called Polymer Prince, and it did shrink up inside. A bunch of leaves fell off and I lost some of it, but I think there's enough there for it to take off and go again now that it's outside where it can get all the air and all God's attention. And this little silver one, same. It went smaller, but it didn't die, so that's great. And then this little one here is a new one. However, there was a little small nubbin of one that was left over, and I think it may live in there with it, and that will be even fuller. And then this one, though there you don't see anything there is a little, well, I don't think they're bulbs, probably rhizomes, the little root part of the begonia is in this one. Oh, I hope this one comes back because it's called autumn embers, autumn something. It's a beautiful orange and copper color. Put my airplane plant right there. I may change that one. I'm not sure. This little bougainvillea lived through the winter for me, so there it is, and hopefully it'll take off and go. We are supposed to get rain tonight, at least that's in the forecast, and I'm certainly hoping that we do get it. It will give them such a wonderful start if they do get it. So, but I'm very pleased with the work of today, because there's just so much I did get done and got it out here, got it ready in case we do get the rain, and just this lush layered look. It's so pretty. Brought out several little hibiscus, the annual hibiscus that or not annual, but the non-hardy hibiscus that I had to bring in. But most of it seemed to have lived. Even this one I thought didn't. And look, it's got little green coming up. So I'm so happy about that. And they look so scraggly and terrible. Look at this one. But it's got life in it. And whenever it gets outside where it can really take off and go, as long as there's life, it usually will go ahead and make it for me. So I'm very happy about that. I had a little dew plant that I saved over winter too, and I put it in this pot because I bought a new one, which is right here, that I put on this side. And so that one's a variegated, and this is just the regular green one. And it looks so scraggly, but it lived. And again, I'm hoping and believing that it probably will do well now that it's outside. I had a bleeding heart vine on this, and I was just sure that it was dead because, you know, just this dry stick here. And then look what I saw when I was bringing it out here. Right back there, green life. So that'll be wonderful if that lives and I can see it. Oh, the doves, I don't know if I can get them for you, but they just landed right over there. So we had a wonderful day, and I'm definitely tired and ready to go in, but I'm so grateful to have gotten everything out here and ready to pretty much go again tomorrow. So we're kind of back to where we started today's post, and I'm ready to go in and get some rest, but there's still a little bit left I have to do in there to clean up some of the places where I moved plants, and it needs to be cleaned and put all my little trays away. So good night to everybody. Hope you're having a happy gardening day too. This was a beautiful day for gardening.